Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today we are going to go over 10 top altcoins to buy in June part 2. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content and let me know in the comments which altcoins you would like me to go over next. Have some coffee, tea, sit back, relax and enjoy it. Let's dive straight into it. Starting with ICP. After being bearish for a while as a markdown phase, ICP found rejection or support around the 4.55 zone. That's why we'll be looking for longs. Short-term longs if we retest the lower bound of this range, and long-term longs after breaking above the accumulation phase, as you clearly see, just like this, above 6.5. Once we break to the upside, ICP will shift its momentum from bearish accumulation to bullish. We are currently in an accumulation phase as per Richard Wyckoff's theory, and we need a break above the accumulation at 6.5 for the shift in momentum to happen. In this case, every correction would be considered a dip to be looking for trend following longs. My ultimate target, medium-term target, would be around the 10.511 resistance, and once we break to the upside, we'll be expecting further bullish movement towards the 15 round number. Next, DOT. Yes, DOT has been on my list for a while. You saw it previously on my previous weekly overviews. Currently, it's retesting a very strong support. My drawings are messed up. I don't know why. Anyway, every time DOT rejects this 4 round number, it surged previously by over 200%, 220, 230%. And I believe this time is no different. I'm expecting this big movement. And I believe DOT will surprise everyone. So don't underestimate the power of this blockchain. Anyway, from a medium-term perspective, from a technical perspective, it's currently testing the 4. That's why we'll be looking for short-term longs targeting this previous major high at 5.3. But for the bulls to take over long-term and start this massive bullish movement, just like previously, a break above the last major high will be needed. In our case, currently it would be around the 5.5. Short term, if you zoom into daily and H4 time frame, you will see that we have been overall bearish after breaking below these last major lows. So bullish, bearish. Now we are waiting for the bulls to take over again after breaking above the 4.25. In this case, we'll be expecting this short-term movement I mentioned from weekly time frame. We'll be expecting a movement towards the 5.5, 5.3, which is the upper bound of this big range. And then of course, as I mentioned, we need a break above the 5.5 from daily and weekly for the bulls to take over long term and expect this 200% movement upward. Next, we've got CGPT, which is actually the crypto version of ChatGPT. Daily time frame, it's around a very strong support and round number 0.1. As long as the 0.1 holds as a support, of course, we'll be looking for longs. This is our round number. Price rejected it to the point, and as you can see, we haven't had a candle close below it. Instead, we are currently inside this range and we are waiting for a break above this previous major high, which would be at 0.111 if you want, or 1.2. We need a break above it. In this case, we'll be expecting this bullish move, which would be like 50% movement upward towards the 0.15. And of course, from a long-term perspective, a break above the 0.15 will be needed. In this case, we'll be starting a massive bullish movement. This is how strong this support is. We'll be expecting 0.4 or even a new all-time high towards the 0.5 round number. But let's take it step by step, right? From a price action perspective, I'm currently waiting for a break above the 0.11 to expect this movement towards the 0.15. Next, Sonic or S, previously FTM, Phantom, currently rejecting this previous major low. A very strong area. Not a support yet because as you see, we don't have any data. After it rebranded to Sonic, we had data here from FTM, and this is like a strategy that, of course, also Paul or previously Matic used, and many other tokens like WMT, now WMTX, right? So they use it in a bull run or kind of in a bull run for new traders to see that it's a brand new one, or not to see the previous history where it melted. Anyway, I'm not sure about S, so I don't want to underestimate or make assumptions on why they did it, but we are here now. So we don't have any data previously, so I can't really call it a support because it's the all-time low, which is not the all-time low, right? You got what I mean. 0.35 is a very strong support zone, previously rejected multiple times. That's why as long as we are above it, it's acting as support and we'll be looking for longs. Of course, from a macro perspective, for the bulls to take over, a break above the last major high will be needed, which is currently this area here around 0.6. H4 time frame, we have been bearish after breaking below this low. We are in a bearish trend, big impulse, correction, big impulse, and we are currently in this flat correction phase. For the bulls to take over and shift the momentum in their favor, a break above this previous major high at 0.422 will be needed. Meanwhile, around support, so I believe the only movement from here is up as long as the 0.35 holds. If the 0.35 is broken downward, we'll be expecting further bearish movement, which I doubt, but of course, who knows, right? So waiting for a break either above the 0.422 or a break below the 0.35 to decide the next movement. As per your request in the previous video, in the comments, of course, feel free to request any altcoin in this video in the comments below. You requested, guys, XRP last time. We have been overall bearish, making lower highs and lower lows, trading as a big correction phase within this falling channel. If you zoom a little bit out, you can see that it is simply a correction phase. We had our previous big impulse, currently in a correction and waiting for a break above the previous major high at 0.268. In this case, I'll be expecting something like this. As a big impulse, correction, and then a big impulse again, targeting a long-term target at 5 round number. But for now, we are here. Let's take it step by step. We are still within this big correction, and yes, we might still push lower. For us to be able to push lower towards this demand zone at 1.5, a break below this 1.85 lower bound of the support will be needed. For now, the 1.85 to support zone is a very strong support that will be looking for longs every time price retests it. In parallel, for the bulls to take over, long term, as I mentioned, a break above the 2.68 is needed, and medium term, a break above this previous major high will be needed at 2.45, and also the upper bound of the falling channel in blue. Next, we've got GRIFFAIN. GRIFFAIN around a 0.05, very strong round number. We also have the 1, we are currently trading within this range between the 0.05 and the 1 and the 0.1 round number. For the bulls to take over again and push towards the first target at 0.1, a break above this head and shoulders neckline. We've got our left, our head, and the right is currently forming. We need a break above the neckline at 0.067, and then we'll be expecting a break above the 0.1. In parallel, if the 0.05 is broken downward, which is currently acting as support, as you clearly notice, if we break it downward, we'll be expecting further bearish movement towards the 0.03 support zone. Next, secret network, or SCRT. If you zoom out to weekly time frame, you can see that this is a very strong demand zone. We had a big explosive movement from this area, also the round number 0.1. Anyway, we are currently testing a very strong support. I'm talking about the 0.15 round number. As long as it holds, we'll be looking for longs targeting the first target at 0.26. That's around the 70% movement upward from here. And if you break above the 0.28, which is the upper bound of this big daily range, we'll be expecting bigger long-term bullish movement towards this supply at 0.45. But for now, let's take it step by step around the lower bound of this range, H4 time frame, waiting for a break above this last major high at 0.188, and then we'll be expecting a movement to the upside. LPT. In a correction phase after an explosive movement upward, so we are retesting this demand zone. After this explosive movement, right, creates a demand zone. Anyway, we've got the 5.56, which is a very strong support and demand. Currently in a falling wedge pattern. And if you break below this previous low, we'll be expecting one more impulse towards the demand, where we'll be looking, of course, for longs. In parallel, for the bulls to take over and shift the momentum in their favor from here and start the next impulse movement, a break above the 8.8 previous major high will be needed. This is a very important zone for LPT, which will decide the next movement. Next, OP, around the lower bound of this flat rising, broadening wedge. Big impulse, big correction, bigger impulse, even bigger correction. So I'm now expecting an even bigger impulse, targeting the 1.12, 1.25 for the bullish takeover and start this massive new impulse movement, which makes a new high. A break above the 0.69 will be needed. Once we have it, I'll be looking for trend following longs on every retest. Kaito, last but not least, rejecting this 1.5 support zone. H4 time frame around a very strong structure, as you can see in red. Previously support turned resistance for the bullish takeover again and push towards the 2.4. A break above this last major high at 1.84, 1.85 will be needed. Once we have it, you can look for a trend following long on the retest. Meanwhile, we are bearish, right? Testing a resistance. So if you push lower towards the 1.5, we'll be looking for new short-term longs targeting the upper band of the range at 1.8. That's it for today. 10 top altcoins to buy in June. Let me know in the comments which altcoins you would like me to go over next, and I'll see you hopefully on the next one.